Hey you, I'm Johannes from Avatar, and I say, may the rock be with you.
How are you, Johannes? Good to see you again, mate.
Good to see you. How are you?
I'm excellent, thank you. It's lovely and early on a Thursday morning here, and a pleasure to talk to you today.
How are listed for you?
7 a.m.
Well, we made the last Australian I talked to get up at 5, so you're
Yes, I was awake then. I could have done it, but seven's a more
uh,
reasonable hour.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, it's tricky when we are on the road.
No, all good, mate. But welcome back to May the Rock be with you, Johannes. It's been about 2 years since we last chatted, so let's catch up.
hmm
How have the last 2 years been for you?
Let's see. Uh, well, short answer, good. Um, so the album came out now. That
Mhm.
means we wrote it. I mean, as far as the band goes, it's been a lot of stop and pinch yourself in the arm kind of stuff is has happened, I would say. And yeah, I don't even know where to begin.
Well, it's been good. We'll just go with that.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, excellent. But of course, we are here though because the new album is out. So Don't Go in the Forest is finally been
Yeah.
released. What's it like
hmm
when it's finally out and for people to hear after all that time putting it together? And is there anticipation? Is the nerves gone? How's it feeling?
There is a moment that I think removes nerves for me that I learned over the years that the word release, of course, it means you put it out for sale and streaming and on the platforms and stuff. But I think more in my personal life to release an album, it's a story about letting it go.
Hmm.
And I think, being in a band, I like to think that what we're doing is a multimedia conceptual art project. Thinking like that makes it more fun to make t-shirts. And with that, the songwriter hat, you kind of remove that and you become a performing artist when the album comes out. So there's a bye-bye moment, letting it go, and there's that death of the author moment where you hope that people will get similar things out of the songs that you put into them. And as a songwriter, I guess you have certain power and authority to achieve that if what you do is articulated well enough, you
Yeah,
know?
right.
But that being said, I mean, people will also put their own sensibilities and life experiences and thoughts into it. And most of it will probably land close to what we intended, but all kinds of things will be taken out of the songs, which is fine. So there's a release as in letting go. And there's also um through the years, I've learned to ask myself that question, listen to the album one final time before it's out, listen to that final master when there's no turning back. And okay, if everybody else would end up somehow hating this, how would I feel? Am
Mhm.
I okay with that? Is this the album I wanted to make and we wanted to make? Yeah. Okay, good. So that I think removes a bunch of the nerves. And then instead it's just that a happy feeling of I can't wait for everyone to hear this. We uh at the time of the release, you should hopefully have pretty good feelings about what you have made.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I as someone who has lived inside of it for so long, I think I can only tell you in 10 years maybe what actually worked and didn't work.
Mm.
Then I have a feeling, especially after having putting out all these albums through the years, that I will also feel pretty damn good about this in 10 years. But,
Yeah.
time will tell.
Excellent. Well, what, if anything, did this album allow you to do that you feel you couldn't have done or didn't do on previous releases?
Oh, there's a lot, I think. Um, well, on a musical level, as an immediate comparison to what came just before, and I think that's very normal for us to do, and I think pretty normal for many bands, that the pendulum swings
Mm.
in what your interests are. At least that's because we don't really work beyond it that we want to write what we feel are proper songs and that there's a red thread as a sense of motif that it's we want to be the Beatles, we want to write songs. As you get that and you get that we're a metal band. Beyond that, we don't really stick to formulas very much. I think that's pretty evident through the years. I mean, we play with similar toys, I think, through the years. A bit of death metal, a bit of classic heavy metal, a bit, there's a bunch of stuff we put in there. Um, but musically, so one thing, that is what I was saying. So comparing to Dance Devil Dance, it was very important, I think, especially to me, the whole idea of it's a rock set album title. Don't bore us, get to the chorus,
Yep.
kind of to the point. Treat it as dance music, consistency in the beats and for each song, as if one was a foxtrot and the next jitterbug or whatever. That kind of thinking, but with heavy music. So not a lot of tempo changes, not a lot of going to, there's some breakdowns probably on the album, but beyond that, kind of stick to the dance. Um, so, and that was very, very interesting to do. And because it was so interesting to do that with Danceable Dance, it became very not interesting to do that now. So a few of the songs, you can maybe throw an odd time signature somewhere. You can speed it up a bit extra in the middle, and just songs that I feel explore themselves more and go on a longer trip.
Hmm.
So that was one thing. And then I think melodically like as far as melodies and the vocals and that side of my singing, it took more space and I did more things with it, especially again trusting the metal. I started to trust that the guitars might be heavy enough. And so I would allow myself to be even more dynamic than before within more types of songs like that a few more low notes will give the high notes or the screaming more weight as they arrive, kind of thinking.
Yeah, right.
So that was a big thing. Then, yeah, I played piano on this album because when we did Gun, I played live, but in the studio, for whatever reason, didn't. Let's get a real pianist in there. I'm not a real pianist, and she was great. So I had this girl record the piano for Gun, and then I started to play it live, and like maybe I could have done this because I also wrote it. Uh, and we did this piano version of arrangement of Tower that then, after we had toured with it for hundreds of shows, we recorded. And I kind of, I got to cut my teeth on that and that now that door was open. And as I was working on some piano stuff, I did it during sound checks from time to time.
Hmm.
John would go up on stage and we started to figure out drums to go with the piano. So suddenly what happened is instead of making the sad dude alone with his instrument kind of song out of the piano ideas I happen to have on this album, it's a band song, drum, bass, guitars, and piano, which is nothing going back to the Beatles, it's been done before, but I hadn't done it and we hadn't done it written like that. So that was a big deal.
Yeah.
And then there's also thematically, I think, in the lyric writing, number one, always topically. Hopefully, the ambition is to always write songs you haven't written before, and lyrically is a huge part of that. Just when it comes to how you feel about yourself, about the world, or where you let your intuition take you, hopefully you can take all those approaches further. I mean, half of the songs roughly on this album is written way more intuitively
Hmm.
than uh yeah, like I have come to understand more and more through the years that, yeah, it's nice if I understand what we have done at the end of the writing, but you don't always have to know exactly where you're going in the beginning. And that has been always very obvious, with when writing riffs. You sit and come up with things, see what it feels like, and kind of go from there. What would be nice if it came after. But with lyrics, I think I sometimes what's the word, stifled myself with wanting to understand what it was all about and where it was going and what the point was at the very first line of lyrics.
Hmm.
And now instead, started to trust a sense of beauty and, like just trusting if I like what is written. I don't need to overthink where it comes from. And what I believe happened is that the subconscious wrote way more of the lyrics.
Wow.
It came from a dreamier, more surreal place, but once it was done, I can kind of back up and look, like a sheet of paper and back up and look at it and like, okay, yeah, there it is. That's what I
Yeah,
did. That makes sense.
that's awesome.
So I feel like that removed yet another filter. So yeah, those are a bunch of stuff that made this one different.
That's awesome. I can't wait to hear these songs. And speaking of hearing these songs, you're out on the road at the moment. So
Hmm.
you did some dates with Iron Maiden and you're heading out to open Metallica next year as
Hmm.
well. When you're opening for bands like this, do they get mad at you when you blow them off the stage?
Well, no one said anything. No, I think when you're back, I mean, in other settings, not with Iron Maiden, we have gotten vibes, especially from the audience, that maybe something like that happened, and maybe it's trickier to bond in those situations. There's no risk of that happening with Iron Maiden.
No, no.
Number one, we went to school growing up with Iron Maiden, studying them. Like all those, there are many bands that give that reasons, but why do you want two guitars in a band, you know?
Mm,
And the rhythm and lead and the twin lead things and that style of writing, they were a huge part of that since day one. Um, in a brief moment, we were like early, like teenage, pre-writing your own material days. We stood without a bass player, and I remember John throwing the question out there for me, like, "Would you like to play bass and sing?" And I thought about it for a moment, but I thought I saw the Bruce Dickinsons and the Mick Jaggers and the Halfords or whatever. I was like, I don't want to play and sing. I want to jump and sing, you
yeah.
know? So, and Iron Maiden, always great, very fits to this day, as considering how long they've been doing it,
Mhm.
still delivers with an amazing stage show that keeps evolving. And they could be half as good and still, because of their legacy, they will still be, great.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just completely different. It's such a different beast that it would be surprising if, you know, if that schism would happen on a maiden run.
Yeah.
But there's been others though.
Yes. And we had Metallica here last weekend, mate. You've got to step your game up. You're amazing, but oh, they were so
It's
good.
also a very big, very round stage where I will always have 65% that audience behind me, which I need to get used to
Yep.
the thought of before going up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Metallica, same thing, and of course their style of performance, less theatrical, so different genre than ours, but also I don't know, they do a couple of things amazingly that, again, you grew up looking at. And those two bands specifically, I mean, we wouldn't be the first band to say it. There are a lot of bands, I'm wearing my At the Gates shirt here, for instance. There are so many bands that have inspired the direction of where we ended up heading and all of that. But I think those two bands for the formation of Avatar are the most important ones because John broke a leg skiing, was bedridden when he was 12, got some CDs to pass the time, including Load and Reload, and John lay there in bed and became a drummer, a metal drummer.
Wow.
And Jonas walked past a friend's older brother's room who was it Afraid to Shoot Strangers, I think was the song that was played. And everything changed for him. And John and Jonas were the ones who met first. And, a Metallica shirt met a Maiden shirt, hair almost past the ears, you know, 14, 15 years old. And they started the band that I joined shortly after. And
Amazing.
that's Iron Maiden and Metallica was what, set the path for them.
It's like a pinch me moment for you guys too. It's kind of like, is this actually happening? It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. But especially when we did Iron Maiden in Brazil,
Oh,
was because we were so nervous. Again, it was all this. Our fanboyism, Brazil's well documented fandom of the band, uh, so on a new continent, who Iron Maiden were we like, and I never felt that young in a dressing room or small before we headed up on stage. Then once we survived the first gig, the rest of the shows I was able to process, but it was just yeah, it was emotional. We were choking up and stuff before and after, and especially watching their set. And they played Blood Brothers, and Blood Brothers. If a band is in many ways like a marriage,
Mm,
and that you need to take care in a very, very similar way. So it's just mo so if the five of us would actually get married, Blood Brothers would have been the dance, the first dance, you know. So
that's
that's
cool.
our song, and they played it, and we stand like, "Ah!" like it was a big deal.
Awesome, man. Hey, we last saw you here in Australia in 2023. You're booked up for a little while, but mate, what an experience. What a show. When are you coming back?
Um, I have seen the dates written in pencil, and
Mm,
those penciled in dates the band approved yesterday. They are in pencil.
okay.
They are very close to be ink, but I would get in trouble if I said when exactly.
That's right.
But yeah, no, it's very much part of a timeline of a plan, and will happen.
Okay. I considered the show, I reviewed the show and I absolutely loved it. It was an experience. It wasn't a show.
Mm,
It was just like, mate, I was absolutely blown away. So I can't wait to see you
thank you,
again. Yeah.
thank you.
Now, I always like to do this because is there a song from your catalog that you feel doesn't get enough love that people should actually find and listen to?
Yeah, all of them that we don't play live, I
There
guess.
you go.
No, that's tough. Uh, because there's always some fans who do some have some deep cut favorites. So you tend to hear about some a lot of stuff at some point, you know? Uh, but I've I have this with music videos where you can I feel some of my favorites uh, just because the songs then didn't get the same radio push or early enough in album cycle. There's a lot of things that goes into, riding that wave of everything else happening that I think help songs. But I always felt like, for instance, the music video for Newland deserves as many views as anything else we have done. And I mean, it didn't do poorly, but it's there. And same with also Vultures Fly, and that was animated. So I understand, so it has maybe less of an appeal compared to a video where you see the band for real or, other ones. But I still thought that was a very fun one to make and write and how it turned out. Stylistically, I really liked it. So it's tricky to pick songs like this. I know for myself, maybe that because it's jarring nowadays when again putting together a set list,
Mm.
there's more and more of a legacy to respect. And it's not just, of course, that means play the most popular songs, a bunch of them. But I think that's just one way of looking at it. There's also respect the traditions you have built with your audience. You know, there's something, because I would be bummed if going back to our Maiden, Hallowed Be Thy Name. That's
Mm.
my song. That's the one that they have played so they can play it in their sleep. And I think they would be, from that perspective, absolutely fine with not playing it. But
You want to
they have
hear
to
it.
play it for me. I want
Yeah.
to hear it.
Yeah.
So, and I feel you need to find a balance where you respect that, and when then you have all those that you need to rotate in and out, do a bit of deep cuts and surprise and have fun with, and the new stuff because yeah, our new stuff is always our best stuff in our mind, and we are looking forward. So kind of a third of each, roughly, of these categories. Um, so from that perspective, there's that I people have heard these songs, but I worry it will get trickier and trickier to fit them back into the set list at some point, and some we have never performed live. One of those that I would put there is maybe Justice from Hunter Gatherer is one of those
Mm.
that I just realized. I'm sure in the next 30 years we might play it once or twice, But didn't it? Maybe it would have deserved a bit more than that.
Okay.
Or hazmat suits off of Dance Devil Dance. We it was because when it was a close contender to be put out there back then, um, but then time moves on, and oh no, we wrote more songs,
Oh no. Oh no.
and you have that.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and then you have that, and then you have that song from 10 years ago that maybe that has waited even longer to come back into the set list.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's a weird thing.
All right, we'll
Like that.
figure it out.
But
Hopefully
no,
by the
you,
time
you
you
got
get,
a couple of songs out of me though as an answer, so I think
yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of answered it. Yeah,
You've made a playlist for me today, so there you go. I'll go and
yeah.
sort that out. Now, lastly, what we do, and we've always done this, we look ahead to the future with a prediction. So I want you to finish this sentence for me. In 2026, Avatar will,
Surprise you.
yes. The thought that went into that was amazing, and I'm like, where are we going to
Hmm.
go with that?
I
Well,
can't tell them that yet. I can't announce that yet. Oh yeah, we're doing that. That's gonna be so cool. Huh?
yeah,
Or
all those
something.
things. Hopefully, we'll get a pen out and sign some Australian dates, and we'll go from there.
Yep. No, that we're very close to putting that together. So, which is nice to be able to answer. But that's the thing, right? It's always the hardest to go somewhere for the first time,
Mm,
to make the promoter take that leap of faith with you because you don't truly know. But I think we did, for being first time we played in Denmark, we played for no one. And first time we played Australia, we actually played for a few, so it was somewhat legit. So that makes it possible for us to come back and build and start doing the thing that we have done in North America, that we've done in Europe, that we're doing in Latin America. We got a foot in the door. You're not getting rid with us anytime soon. So we'll see you.
that's what we love. Johannes, thank you so much for your time again, mate. I can't wait to see you in Sydney. We'll catch up when you're down here.
Looking forward to it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, mate. Bye bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
Thanks for watching our chat with Johannes from Avatar. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, check out maytherockbewithyou.com. That's where everything else is.